I felt like crying, but I could not let a tear out. I thought he was going to finish off what he had started by stabbing my neck with the knife he had. Every beginning must have an end. So I laid there, like I was a corpse, until he was done. He just stood up and went his way, leaving me in the bush, cold and naked in tears. I was raped. It was not new, but I still did not know how to console myself. I was hurt and very much disturbed to the deepest depths of my heart. For a moment, I sat naked and tried to make sense of what had just happened, but the silence in my head pushed me to stand up and ignore what I felt like doing. There was no glimpse of sense in what had just taken place. I wanted to curl up on my mother's lap and cry like a baby for as long as I could. But how was I to do that if I had given myself up to the world, to men? Hello darlings, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Today we are reviewing a book by Mmathabo Mooa. What other choice did I have? And this is the cover. Okay, I might have butchered the cover a bit, but you know, when you carry a book with you for a long time, that's what happens. But that's fine. We read the book, we finished it, and now we are reviewing it. So let's get into it. So guys, this book is an autobiography by Mmathabo Mooa. The reason I am emphasizing this name, Mathabo, is because a lot of people call her Mmathabo and she doesn't like it. This is an autobiography, not an easy read, I have to say. I got this book a year ago, and then I read like the first few pages, and I was like, no, I'm not continuing with this until I am ready. So I think I was ready when I read this book, and the reason why I was ready is because there's been a lot of things happening in our country where a lot of women are being killed, a lot of women are being raped, and it is so annoying and it makes me angry that people get away with these things. Like, look, let me just say this. We give birth to these men, and as women and even men who have these children, especially male children, I think we need to have a shift in how we teach them how to treat women. Maybe we don't teach them, and therefore they think, okay, I am a man, therefore I have to do this. And I am appealing to all the parents of male children, please, can we teach them how to behave when they get erections? What to do when that happens and there's a girl, you know, in a place where they have an opportunity to sexually assault them. Can we please teach them, you know, men, please teach these children how to hold this thing, this urge of trying to have sex and think you will die if you don't have it and if you don't release that time. So yeah, can we please have a paradigm shift to how we raise these children? They are children. I have a son. I just don't want my son to be one of those guys who do such things to women and other boys, because that also happens. So what can we do? Let's just talk about it. Okay, so yeah, I got a bit emotional there, but we have to teach our boys. Back to the book. So Mathabo experienced her first sexual encounter when she was 7. A relative of hers took advantage of her. Mathabo is those people who are adventurous, you know, people who get bored easily. And she, you know, in a village where, you know, everyone and your relatives are just close by, and you just visit one of them, hoping to get tea. She says she was hoping to get tea and chill because that's what she was used to doing. And then this guy just rapes her, and he didn't even tell her to keep quiet about it. So I guess he trusted her so much. She didn't say anything about the encounter. And then she was later raped again by another relative. So in this situation, they go to, it's like when you go to your granny's house and all your cousins are there, and therefore the young ones sleep on the floor while the other ones sleep on the bed. You know, it's chaotic. All of us sleep in one place, and while they were sleeping, one wasn't sleeping because he had an agenda to rape her. And so he did. And she didn't say anything again. So anger just boiled inside her, and because she didn't say anything and she was angered, she released her anger by being rebellious and being a problem child and being disrespectful and hating her father. And you know, eventually when she was old enough and she did something. I won't tell you this because I want you to buy the book and see what she did to run away from home. She did this one thing, but it was genius. I'm not condoning it. No, I'm not. But she's a brilliant mind. So she did what she did, and she got caught, and she couldn't face the embarrassment. She couldn't face the confrontation, and therefore she ran. She took a bag and some of her belongings, and she left. And she was 15 when she left home. She didn't have a plan. So she went to, oh, I forgot the place, but she was raised in Limpopo, so it's Leboakgomo, if I'm not mistaken. She went to Leboakgomo, and then she realized, oh, but I ran away from home, so where am I going to sleep? And she was like, okay, let me just, you know, I'm a flirt and boys like me, therefore whoever I meet on the day, you know, I'll have a nice time with them, and then I'll sleep over their place, and then tomorrow, same thing. She did that, and for months, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was months, she slept with different men just to have a roof over her head. And you know, she didn't think that was prostitution because, you know, she wasn't asking for money. She was just basically sleeping with these guys so that she could sleep, because she didn't have a place to sleep. And sometimes she wouldn't bath, you know, when she didn't get the opportunity to bath where she slept at. And so it continued, and you know, and then she got raped again. And you know what really got me angry was that she had so many opportunities to go back home and say, you know what, I am done. I've done what I thought was best, but it didn't work out, so I'm going home. She had those many opportunities. Like she had, like the rape experience, I thought, you know what, when she was, after this experience, she's going back home. There's no way she's going to continue with her life, but she did. So she she's stubborn. I'd like to think that she's stubborn. Hence, she didn't go back home even after she had so many opportunities and so many experiences that really could force her to go back home. But she didn't. And the reason she didn't go back home is because, you know, she stayed so long in the streets, and she didn't think she was worthy of going back home, because now she felt dirty. She wasn't the child her parents knew. And so she lived the street life. She met so many guys. Some she remembers, some she doesn't remember. And so it was so painful to read this book. She's very good at describing something, especially I really liked how she described the rape scene in the bush, the one I read earlier on. And when it was done, how she, well, I'm not going to tell you that again because I want you to get the book. So yeah, but she's very descriptive. And the one thing I really love and appreciate about her is that she's so honest. Like, I've never read and seen anyone as honest as her. You know, people go through so many things, some so embarrassing, some that they die with. And she's like, you know what, I'm going to share my story, tell my truth as it is, and if you judge me, that's your problem, but I have told my truth, and telling my truth has helped me. So Mathabo met a woman called Susie through her adventure, through someone she met in a taxi. And you know, this lady she met in a taxi just found accommodation for her at Susie's. And Susie's house, when she describes it, is not even a house. It's not even a home. It's dirty, just thinking about it and how she describes it. And she meets Susie, and when she sees Susie, it's like a reflection of yourself that you don't like and you judge. And she looked at Susie and she was like, this is a prostitute and I don't want to be like her. So she judged Susan because she didn't think what she was doing was similar to what Susan was doing. Susan was doing it for the money, and she was doing it for accommodation, because when they were done with her in the morning, she had to leave. She didn't realize that what she was doing and what Susan was doing was the same thing. It was a transaction. She was sleeping with them for something, and Susan was also sleeping with them for something. So they were the same. Hence, she didn't like her. And she didn't like her because Susan had children, and she didn't understand why Susan was living this life when she had children to live for. But anyways, you know, we are people, we judge each other. And if you can really introspect, you realize that actually that situation is not different from my situation. And so, but she didn't like Susan's way of prostitution. And so time went by, Susan did things that she didn't like, and then things happened. And so there was this other experience that I thought, wow, she's going back home this time. And then she didn't. Mabena. And then she didn't. And so she eventually, the police had to come and fetch her because her mom was looking for her. And then I don't know who told the police about this girl that fit the description of this girl that the parents are looking for, and they found her. They threatened her. She went back home. And then I thought, wow, she's back at home with her mom. You know, her mom is like my mom. Those quiet women, you know, who are, I can't find this word in English, babonolo in Setswana. she took her in, gave her food, life went on. I guess maybe if the mother was open and said, let's talk about this, what is bothering you, she just didn't do that. And so Mathabo got bored and she left again. And so things continued. There's so many things that happened, so many men she slept with, and then there's something that happened again, and she fell pregnant, and sadly she lost the baby. And that chapter of her talking about the baby just moved me so much. It got me teary. It was so beautiful yet sad. One thing I love is that when I read a book and then I see the title somewhere inside the text on the book, I really love that. So what Mathabo did in the book is that on each chapter, she has so many choices, by the way, and on each chapter she has a part where it says, what other choice did I have when she had encountered a predicament. And so I think maybe that's why she had this title, what other choice did I have, although it doesn't have a question mark. And I asked her about why there's a question mark missing, and she was like, I don't know. Sometimes you have choices and you take one and you think the other one is not a choice. So yeah, she had those moments, a lot of moments. In each chapter there's a what other choice did I have situation going on. But one thing led to another. She reconciled with her family eventually, but it wasn't nice. She goes back to school, and then she fights with her father so many times. But the beauty about the story is that there comes a chapter when she breaks away from this lifestyle, but she doesn't tell us how she did it. And when I finished reading it, I sent her a text and said, I thought there'd be a part 2. And then, because I really wanted to know how you transformed from everything that you have experienced to what you are now. And she was like, you know what, chapter 2 is all the best things you can imagine for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. So it was really nice reading this book. I really loved it. It got me angry many times, and it made me introspect. And every time I want to judge, I think about the book, and I know there's someone who's going through what she went through and doesn't know what she could do. Even the parents, I know a lot of people who are facing this situation with their children and they don't know how to approach it. We need to have a relationship with our children and talk to them. Sometimes not talking creates a problem for our children. And so it was really a nice read, although it was so sad most of the times. I don't know how I would have survived if I were to face these situations, these experiences that she experienced. And I really respect her so much for writing this book to clear judgment, because we see prostitutes and we want to judge them when we don't know what really pushed them to prostitution. So yeah, man, I'm going to give this book a 5 because it is advocating to children, to parents, to people when you think you don't have a choice and you do. There are a few things I didn't like, punctuations. Yeah, that's the only thing I didn't like. Sometimes I'd read and then get lost and then have to read the sentence for it to make sense to me. So yeah, but it was a really well written book, well descriptive. It's I I don't know what to say, but you know what? If you've read the book, please tell me what you think about it and what it did to your life. Because I really want to buy this book for other people that I really think need it, so that their eyes can open. Because we judge so much, and we judge our children, and we insult them, and we don't know how insulting can manifest in our children. Because her father, when she bought herself like big hoop earrings, and her father said, so you're a prostitute, something like that, a remark about being a prostitute, and she wasn't a prostitute at the time. And you know what he had said manifested. She then became a prostitute. So yeah, I think get this book, read it, and review it. Comment, tell me what you think. And yeah, we can talk about other things as well on the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.